I pull into the driveway of what I still think of as my home, groceries in the back seat, completely unprepared for what I'm about to see. My clothes are scattered across the front lawn like trash. My favorite cardigan hangs from a rose bush. My shoes are scattered in the flower bed I planted 20 years ago. My heart pounds as I park and step out slowly. The front door opens, and my daughter-in-law, Bethany, steps onto the porch with her arms crossed. She's smiling. Actually smiling. What's going on? My voice shakes despite my effort to stay calm. I'm taking back what's mine, she says, voice dripping with satisfaction. You've lived here rent-free long enough, Margaret. Time to go. I stare at her, unable to process what I'm hearing. This is my house. The house my late husband Paul and I bought 35 years ago. The house where I raised our son Derek. The house I've lived in every single day since. Bethany, what are you talking about? This is my home. She laughs, short and sharp. Was your home? Check the locks if you don't believe me. I try my key. It doesn't work. She's changed them. My hands start trembling as reality crashes over me. My son's wife just locked me out of my own house. Where's Derek? I demand. At work, where he always is. She shrugs. He knows about this. We discussed it. My chest tightens. My son knows? My son approved this? This is illegal, I manage to say. Actually, Bethany pulls out her phone. It's not. She shows me a document on her screen. I squint at it, my reading glasses somewhere in the pile of clothes on the lawn. See that signature? That's yours. From 6 months ago when you signed the house over to Derek and me. My blood runs cold. 6 months ago, Derek asked me to sign some papers, said it was for estate planning, making things easier if something happened to me. I trusted him. I signed without reading thoroughly because he's my son. That was supposed to be for inheritance planning, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. It was a transfer of ownership, Bethany corrects, her smile widening. The house is legally ours now, has been for 6 months. You're just a guest who's overstayed her welcome. I feel dizzy. The world tilts slightly. Derek wouldn't do this. He wouldn't just take my home. Derek did what was necessary. We need this house, Margaret. We're planning to sell it. The market's hot right now. We'll make nearly £400,000. Sell it. They're going to sell my home. The place where I've lived for 35 years, where Paul died, where every memory of my life exists. You can't, I whisper. Bethany steps closer, her voice dropping to something almost intimate. I already did. We have an offer. Closes in 30 days, so you need to find somewhere else to live. Today. She turns and walks back into my house, into what used to be my house. The door shuts. The new lock clicks. I'm standing on my own lawn, surrounded by my belongings, locked out of my life. I stand frozen for what feels like hours, but is probably only minutes. My phone buzzes in my pocket, a text from Derek. Mum, I'm sorry, we need to talk. Can you stay with Aunt Carol tonight? My son, my only child, the boy I raised alone after Paul died. He's sorry? He's sorry after stealing my home? I don't respond. Instead, I start gathering my clothes from the lawn, shoving them into bin bags I find crumpled near the garage. My hands shake so badly I can barely grip the fabric. Neighbors are starting to notice. Mrs. Chen from across the street walks over tentatively. Margaret? What's happening? I can't speak. If I try to explain, I'll start crying, and I refuse to give Bethany that satisfaction. Mrs. Chen helps me gather my things without asking more questions. Her kindness makes it harder not to break down. 20 minutes later, everything I own that Bethany threw out is crammed into my car. I sit in the driver's seat staring at the house. My house. Was my house. I pull out my phone and call the one person I know will help. My sister Carol answers on the second ring. Margaret? What's wrong? I need a solicitor, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. The best one you know. And I need to stay with you tonight. Of course. What happened? Derek and Bethany stole my house, but they made a mistake. What mistake? I look at the property deed I kept in my car's glove box, the one from 35 years ago with mine and Paul's names. They assumed I didn't keep records. Carol lives 20 minutes away in a tidy flat overlooking the park. She's 5 years younger than me, a retired head teacher with a sharp mind and zero tolerance for nonsense. She takes one look at my face and pulls me into a fierce hug. Tell me everything. I explain it all. The document Derek asked me to sign 6 months ago. How he claimed it was for estate planning. How I trusted him and didn't read it carefully. How Bethany threw my belongings on the lawn and changed the locks. How they're planning to sell the house in 30 days. Carol's face grows darker with each sentence. When I finish, she's quiet for a long moment. Do you have a copy of what you signed? No, I didn't think I needed one. He's my son. He's also a thief. The word stings, but I can't argue. I have the original property deed from when Paul and I bought the house. It's in my name, both our names originally, but Paul's name was removed when he died. The house transferred to me entirely. Carol nods slowly. That's good. But if you signed it over, even under false pretenses? I know, but there has to be something wrong with the transfer. Some way to challenge it. We'll find out. She picks up her phone. I'm calling Timothy Rhodes. He's a property solicitor. Brilliant and absolutely ruthless. If anyone can help you, it's him. While she makes the call, I sit in her kitchen staring at my hands. Hands that signed away my home. Hands that trusted my own son. How did this happen? How did I not see this coming? Timothy Rhodes agrees to meet us first thing tomorrow morning. Carol insists I eat something, though food tastes like ash in my mouth. That night, lying in Carol's guest room, I can't sleep. I keep seeing Bethany's smile, that satisfied, victorious smile, like she'd won something. My phone buzzes constantly, text from Derek. Mom, please answer. We need to talk about this. It's not what you think. Bethany went too far. I'll talk to her. Please call me back. I don't respond to any of them. Instead, I start going through every document I have. Bank statements, old tax returns, insurance policies. And then I find it. A letter from Paul, written 2 weeks before he died. I'd forgotten about it, tucked away in an envelope marked important for Margaret only. My hands tremble as I open it. My dearest Margaret, it begins. If you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry I can't be there to protect you from what might come next. I know you trust Derek completely. I do too. But I also know how people change when money's involved. So I've made arrangements. The house has been placed in a special trust. You can live there for life. It can't be sold, transferred, or mortgaged without approval from the trustee. The trustee is my brother James. He has all the documentation. If anyone ever tries to take the house from you, call him immediately. He'll know what to do. I love you. Always have, always will. Paul. My breath catches. A trust? The house is in a trust, which means Derek and Bethany's transfer might be completely invalid. I call James at 6 a.m. He answers groggily, but becomes alert the moment I explain what's happened. They did what? His voice is sharp with anger. Derek had me sign papers 6 months ago, said it was for estate planning. Bethany threw me out yesterday. They've changed the locks and are planning to sell. That's not possible. The house is in Paul's protective trust. Any transfer requires my signature as trustee. I've never signed anything. Relief floods through me so intensely I almost sob. So the transfer isn't valid. If they filed something with the land registry claiming ownership, it's fraudulent. The trust documents supersede any transfer. Paul set this up specifically to protect you from exactly this situation. Why didn't you tell me about this before? Paul made me promise not to unless it became necessary. He didn't want you to feel like he didn't trust Derek. He just wanted you protected. Just in case. Just in case. Paul knew. Somehow he knew that someday someone might try to take advantage of me. Even if that someone was our own son. What do I do now? Meet me at Timothy Rhodes' office this morning. Bring any documents you have. I'll bring the trust papers. We're going to fix this, Margaret. And your son is going to learn a very expensive lesson about fraud. At 9 a.m. we're all seated in Timothy's office. Carol, James, me, and Timothy himself. A man in his 50s with gray temples and eyes that miss nothing. James spreads the trust documents across the desk. Timothy reads them carefully, occasionally making notes. Finally, he looks up. This is ironclad. The house cannot be transferred without the trustee's consent. Any document your son had you sign is legally meaningless. So I can get my house back? My voice cracks slightly. You never lost it, Timothy says firmly. You've been the legal occupant this entire time. What your son and daughter-in-law did is illegal on multiple levels. Fraud, forgery if they misrepresented the document you signed, illegal eviction, and possibly elder abuse. Elder abuse. The words hit me like a physical blow. What happens now? Now we go on the offensive. First, I'll file an emergency injunction to prevent any sale of the property. Second, we'll file a complaint with the police for fraud and illegal eviction. Third, we'll demand immediate return of possession. And if they refuse, they won't have a choice. We'll have police escort you back in if necessary. Carol squeezes my hand. They're not going to get away with this. Timothy starts making calls immediately. Within an hour, the emergency injunction is filed. By noon, we have a hearing scheduled for tomorrow morning. The judge will want to hear from both sides, Timothy explains. Be prepared for Derek and Bethany to claim you're mentally incompetent or that you willingly gave them the house. I'm not incompetent, and I didn't give them anything. I was tricked. I know, and we'll prove it, but they'll fight dirty. Are you prepared for that? I think about Bethany's smile. About Derek's texts claiming he'll fix this like it's a minor misunderstanding. About how they plan to sell my home and pocket £400,000. I'm prepared, I say. My phone buzzes. Another text from Derek. This one different from the others. Mom, Bethany told me what she did. I'm furious. This isn't what we agreed. Please come home. I show it to Timothy. He photographs it. Don't respond. This is evidence. He's trying to distance himself from Bethany's actions, but he signed the fraudulent documents too. That afternoon, Derek shows up at Carol's flat. I watch through the window as he parks and walks up to the door. Carol answers before he can knock. She doesn't want to see you. I need to talk to her. Please, Aunt Carol. You stole her house, Derek. You threw her belongings on the lawn. What could you possibly say? I didn't know Bethany was going to do that. I told her to talk to Mum first, explain things properly. Explain what? How you committed fraud. I step into view. Derek's face crumbles when he sees me. Mum, please, let me explain. Against my better judgment, I nod. Carol lets him in but stays close, protective. Derek sits across from me, looking genuinely distressed. Good. He should be distressed. Start talking, I say coldly. The house transfer was Bethany's idea, he begins. 6 months ago, she found out property prices were rising. She said if we got the house in our names, we could sell it, invest the money, and set everyone up for the future. Everyone except me, apparently. No, we were going to buy you a nice flat somewhere easier to maintain. You're 72, Mom. That house is too big for you. That's not your decision to make. I know, I realize that now. But Bethany was so convincing. She said you'd be happier somewhere smaller, more manageable. She said we'd all benefit. So you lied to me, told me I was signing estate planning documents when really I was signing my home away. I didn't mean to lie, I thought it was for the best. You thought stealing from your mother was for the best? He flinches. I wasn't stealing. I was planning for our future. No, Derek. You were planning for your future. Mine apparently didn't matter. That's not fair. Derek's voice rises. I've always taken care of you. You've always taken my money, you mean? The words come out sharper than I intend, but they're true. Derek's face flushes red. What's that supposed to mean? It means every time you've had a financial problem, I've helped. The deposit for your first flat, the loan when your business failed, the money for your wedding. I've given you over £100,000 over the years. That's different. You wanted to help me. I did, because you're my son and I love you, but I didn't realize you'd repay that love by stealing my home. I wasn't stealing. The house would have been yours until... He stops abruptly. Until what? Until I died? Were you planning to wait, Derek, or were you hoping to hurry things along by making me homeless? That's not, Mum, you're twisting everything. I'm stating facts. You lied to me. You forged documents. You and Bethany planned to sell my home without telling me. Then she threw me out like garbage. Those are facts. Derek stands abruptly. I came here to apologize and try to fix this, but you're not even willing to listen. Oh, I'm listening. I've heard everything you've said. You thought you were entitled to my house. You thought I was too old to manage my own life. You thought you could take what you wanted and I'd just accept it. It's not like that. Then explain what it's like, Derek. Explain it in a way that doesn't involve you committing fraud against your own mother. He can't. He stands there, mouth opening and closing, searching for words that don't exist. Finally, he shakes his head. You'll regret this. Bethany's not going to let this go quietly. Is that a threat? Carol steps forward, her voice dangerous. Are you threatening your mother? I'm warning her. Bethany's already talking to solicitors. She says we have a legal right to that house. That the transfer is valid. The transfer is fraud, I say quietly. And tomorrow in court, you're going to learn that the house was never mine to transfer. It's been in a trust since your father died. A trust that protects me from exactly what you tried to do. Derek's face goes pale. What trust? The one your father set up because he knew, somehow he knew, that someone might try to take advantage of me someday. Even you. Dad didn't. He wouldn't. He did. James has all the documents. The house cannot be transferred without his approval as trustee, which means everything you and Bethany did is meaningless and illegal. Derek sinks back into his chair, the color draining from his face. This can't be happening. It's happening, and tomorrow you're going to stand in front of a judge and explain why you committed fraud against your own mother. He looks up at me, and for a moment, I see the little boy who used to crawl into my lap after nightmares. But that little boy is gone. In his place is a man who chose money over family. Mom, please. Don't do this. Don't destroy your family over a house. You destroyed this family when you lied to me. When you threw me out. When you chose Bethany's greed over your mother's well-being. If you do this, Bethany will never forgive you. She'll make sure I never speak to you again. The threat hangs in the air. Choose the house or lose your son. But I've already lost my son. The Derek I knew would never have done this. Then I guess I'll have my house, I say quietly. Derek leaves without another word. After the door closes, I collapse into Carol's arms and finally let myself cry. All the fear, betrayal, and heartbreak I'd been holding in comes pouring out. Carol holds me tight, murmuring reassurances. When I finally calm down, she makes tea and we sit in silence for a while. You're doing the right thing, she says eventually. I know, but it doesn't feel right. It feels like I'm losing my son. You already lost him. To that woman. This is just making it official. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Mrs. Patterson, this is Bethany. You're making a huge mistake. Drop this now and we can all move forward. Keep pushing and you'll lose everything. I show Carol. She photographs it with her own phone. More evidence. She's threatening you. Should I respond? Absolutely not. Let Timothy handle it. But 5 minutes later, another text arrives. I know about your savings account. The one with £80,000. Derek is entitled to half of everything you own. Keep fighting me and I'll make sure you lose that too. My blood runs cold. She's threatening to take my savings now? She can try, but she won't succeed. None of your assets are in Derek's name. She has no claim. Still, the threat shakes me. It's not just about the house anymore. Bethany wants everything. The texts keep coming. You're a terrible mother. Derek deserves better. You're selfish. That house is wasted on you. You're going to die alone because you chose property over family. Carol takes my phone gently. Stop reading these. Let me handle it. She forwards everything to Timothy, then blocks Bethany's number. That night, I barely sleep again. My mind keeps replaying every moment with Derek, searching for signs I missed. When did he change? When did money become more important than family? Or was he always like this, and I was too blind to see? At 8 a.m., we arrive at the courthouse. Timothy meets us at the entrance, briefcase in hand. Ready? As ready as I'll ever be. Remember, stay calm. Answer questions directly. Don't let emotion take over. We enter the courtroom. It's smaller than I expected, less intimidating. Then Derek and Bethany walk in with their solicitor. Bethany looks immaculate in a navy suit, her blonde hair perfectly styled. She sees me and her lip curls into a sneer. Derek won't meet my eyes. The judge enters and we all stand. She's a woman in her 60s with sharp eyes that remind me of Timothy. She reviews the case file in silence, then looks up. This is a hearing regarding an emergency injunction to prevent the sale of property at 47 Maple Drive. Mrs. Margaret Patterson claims the transfer of ownership was fraudulent. Mr. Derek Patterson and Mrs. Bethany Patterson claim legal ownership through valid transfer. Let's begin. Timothy stands. Your Honor, I represent Mrs. Margaret Patterson. 6 months ago, Mrs. Patterson was deceived into signing documents she believed were for estate planning purposes. In reality, these documents transferred ownership of her home to her son and daughter-in-law. However, this transfer is invalid because the property in question has been held in a protective trust since 1995, when Mrs. Patterson's late husband passed away. As trustee, Mr. James Patterson never consented to any transfer. Therefore, any documents filed with the land registry are fraudulent. The judge looks at Derek's solicitor. Response? The solicitor, a young man who looks fresh out of university, stands nervously. Your Honor, my clients maintain that Mrs. Patterson willingly transferred the property. She signed all necessary documents. She was not coerced or deceived. Was she informed she was transferring ownership rather than completing estate planning documents? She? We believe she understood. That's not what I asked. Was she explicitly told she was transferring current ownership? The documents clearly state. The documents are irrelevant if she was misled about their nature. Do you have any evidence she was fully informed? The solicitor shuffles papers. We have the signed documents. That's not evidence of informed consent. That's evidence of a signature. Timothy stands again. Your Honor, we have evidence that Mrs. Patterson was deliberately misled. Her son told her the documents were for estate planning. He never mentioned ownership transfer. Furthermore, the trust documents prove that Mrs. Patterson had no legal authority to transfer the property without trustee consent. These documents supersede any transfer agreement. The judge reviews the trust papers James provides. Her expression grows stern. These trust documents appear valid and properly filed. Mr. Patterson, she addresses Derek directly. Were you aware of this trust? Derek stands reluctantly. No, Your Honor. Did you ask your mother if there were any encumbrances or trusts on the property before having her sign transfer documents? No, I assumed. You assumed. Mr. Patterson, attempting to transfer property you don't have legal authority to transfer is fraud. Did your solicitor conduct proper due diligence? Derek glances at his solicitor, who looks increasingly uncomfortable. I don't know. You don't know. Mrs. Patterson, the judge addresses Bethany, you changed the locks on the property and evicted Mrs. Margaret Patterson. On what legal grounds? Bethany stands, confident where Derek is faltering. On the grounds that we own the property, Your Honor. Except you don't own it. According to these trust documents, ownership remains with the trust. With Mrs. Margaret Patterson as lifetime beneficiary, you have no legal claim. The transfer documents are invalid. I'm granting the emergency injunction. The property at 47 Maple Drive cannot be sold, transferred, or mortgaged pending full investigation into possible fraud. Mrs. Margaret Patterson is to be given immediate access to the property. Mr. and Mrs. Derek Patterson are ordered to return all keys within 24 hours. Bethany's face goes red. This is ridiculous. We own that house. No, Mrs. Patterson, you don't. And if you continue to prevent Mrs. Margaret Patterson from accessing her legal residence, you'll be held in contempt. I'm also ordering a full review of the transfer documents. If fraud is proven, criminal charges may follow. The gavel comes down. It's over. I've won. Timothy turns to me with a slight smile. That went well. I'm shaking so badly I can barely stand. Carol supports me as we leave the courtroom. Behind us, I hear Bethany's raised voice. This isn't over. She'll regret this. Derek's quieter voice trying to calm her. But I don't look back. I just keep walking. Outside, James hugs me tight. Paul would be proud. He set this up to protect you, and it worked perfectly. I can't believe he knew. That he planned for this. He loved you. He wanted you safe no matter what. That afternoon, Timothy accompanies me back to the house. A police officer is with us to ensure peaceful entry. Derek and Bethany's car is in the driveway. Timothy knocks. Bethany answers, her face twisted with fury. You can't just... Actually, we can. Timothy hands her the court order. You have 24 hours to return all keys and remove any belongings that aren't Mrs. Patterson's. Failure to comply will result in contempt charges. Bethany reads the order, her hands shaking with rage. Then she screams. Actually screams. This is my house. You can't take it from me. It was never your house, I say quietly. It was never Derek's. It was mine, held in trust by my late husband specifically to prevent this. You manipulative. That's enough. The police officer steps forward. Ma'am, you need to comply with the court order. Return the keys now or face arrest. Bethany slams the door. We hear shouting inside, then Derek's voice raised in argument. 5 minutes later, the door opens again. Derek stands there, looking defeated. He hands me a set of keys without speaking. All of them, Timothy says firmly. Every copy. Derek disappears inside and returns with 2 more keys. That's everything. We'll be changing the locks anyway, Timothy says, but thank you for complying. I step past Derek into my house. Everything looks different, colder. They've rearranged furniture, taken down my photos, replaced them with their own. My heart aches seeing what they've done to my home. Bethany appears at the top of the stairs, arms full of clothes. We're not leaving. You can't make us leave. Actually, Timothy consults his notes. You have 72 hours to vacate. That's in the court order too. This is Mrs. Patterson's primary residence. You're trespassing. We live here. You've been living here illegally for 6 months. Now you're being evicted. You have 3 days. Bethany's face cycles through emotions: rage, disbelief, calculation. Finally, she turns to Derek. Do something. Derek just stands there saying nothing. I almost feel sorry for him. Almost. I'll be staying with Carol until you've moved out, I tell Derek. I expect the house to be clean and undamaged when you leave. Anything broken or missing will be reported to police. Derek finally meets my eyes. I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you did it first. Over the next 3 days, I stay with Carol while Derek and Bethany move out. Each evening, I drive by to check on things. I see them loading boxes, furniture, their entire lives being packed away. Part of me wants to stop this, to say it's all a misunderstanding, to forgive and forget. But then I remember Bethany's smile as she threw my clothes on the lawn. Derek's lies about estate planning, the texts threatening to take my savings. They made their choices. Now they live with consequences. On the 3rd day, Timothy calls. They're out. House is empty. I've had locks changed and conducted a full inspection. Some minor damage, holes in walls where they removed wall mounts, scratches on floors for moving furniture, nothing major. Thank God. There's something else. We found documents in the rubbish. Looks like they were planning to forge your signature on loan applications using the house as collateral. My stomach drops. They were going to take out loans against my house? Appears so. I've reported it to police. This strengthens the fraud case significantly. That evening, I return home for the first time in a week. The house feels empty, echoing. They took furniture that wasn't theirs, pieces I'd bought with my own money. My living room looks bare. My kitchen is missing appliances. I walk through each room cataloging what's gone. Then I reach my bedroom. It's been completely cleared out. My bed, my dresser, my personal belongings, everything gone. They even took photos from my nightstand. Photos of Paul. Photos of Derek as a child. I sink onto the bare floor and cry, not for the furniture or the photos. For the son I've lost, for the family that's been destroyed, for the trust that's been shattered beyond repair. Carol finds me there an hour later. She sits beside me on the floor and holds my hand. We'll replace everything. It's just stuff. It's not the stuff, it's what it represents. I know. We sit in silence for a while, then Carol stands. Come on, we're going shopping. What? Shopping. You need a bed at minimum, and food, and you need to stop sitting in this empty house feeling sorry for yourself. Carol, no arguments. Get up. We're gonna make this house feel like home again. She's right. Wallowing won't help, so I let her pull me up and drag me to the furniture store. We spend the afternoon buying basics. A bed, a sofa, a kitchen table. Carol insists on paying, waving away my protests. Paul would want you taken care of. Let me help. By evening, delivery trucks arrive. Within hours, my house starts feeling like mine again. Not the same as before, but that's okay. Maybe it shouldn't be the same. That night, sleeping in my new bed in my own house, I finally feel safe. The locks are changed, the trust is protected. Derek and Bethany are gone. It's over, or so I think. The next morning, I wake to find my front windows smashed. Glass glitters across the living room floor. Spray painted across my front door in red, "You'll regret this." I call the police immediately. They arrive within 20 minutes, taking photos and statements. Any idea who did this? The officer asks. My son and daughter-in-law. They were evicted 3 days ago. You think they'd do this? I know they would. The officer makes notes. We'll investigate. In the meantime, I recommend security cameras. Timothy arrives within an hour of my call. He surveys the damage, lips pressed thin. This is criminal damage, witness intimidation, and possibly threatening behavior. It strengthens your case. My case? I thought this was over. The eviction is over. But there's still the matter of fraud charges. Police are building a case against Derek and Bethany for the false transfer documents and attempted loan fraud. This vandalism adds to it. I don't want to destroy Derek's life. He destroyed his own life when he committed fraud. You're just refusing to be his victim. The police want me to file formal charges for the vandalism. I hesitate. Despite everything, he's still my son. If you don't, Timothy says gently, they'll just escalate. Bethany especially. She's not going to let this go. He's right. The texts start again that afternoon from a new number. You think you've won? You've just started a war. I know where your savings are. I'll make sure Derek gets what he deserves. You're going to pay for this, one way or another. I show Timothy. He immediately contacts police. That evening, they arrest Bethany for harassment and criminal damage. A neighbor's security camera caught her spray painting my door at 3 a.m. Derek wasn't with her. That night, Derek calls from a number I don't recognize. I almost don't answer. Mom, please. Bethany's been arrested. I need your help. I can't help you, Derek. She didn't mean it. She's just angry and scared. We've lost everything because of this. You lost everything because you tried to steal from me. I'm begging you, don't press charges against her. Please. I close my eyes. This is my son asking for help. The boy I raised. The man who betrayed me. Derek, I didn't press charges. The police did that on their own when they found evidence of fraud. But you started this. You could stop it. I can't stop it. And I wouldn't if I could. Bethany vandalized my home. She threatened me. She committed fraud. She needs to face consequences. And what about me? What about your son? What about the mother you threw out of her own home? Silence on his end. Then, quietly, I didn't know she was going to do that. You knew you were lying to me about those documents. You knew you were stealing my house. You knew and you did it anyway. I thought I was helping our family. You thought you were helping yourself. There's a difference. Fine. You want me to say it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I lied. I'm sorry I trusted Bethany. I'm sorry for everything. Is that what you want to hear? I want to hear that you understand what you did was wrong. Not that you're sorry you got caught, that you're sorry you betrayed your own mother. Another long silence. I am sorry for all of it. Then you'll cooperate with the police investigation. You'll admit what you did. You'll take responsibility. If I do that, I could go to prison. If you don't, you definitely will. At least cooperation might get you leniency. You're asking me to betray Bethany. I'm asking you to tell the truth. If that betrays Bethany, maybe you should think about what that means about your marriage. He hangs up without responding. 2 days later, Timothy calls with news. Derek's cooperating with police. He's provided evidence about the fraud, the forged documents, everything. He's also filing for divorce from Bethany. What? Apparently, he's finally realized she manipulated him into this entire scheme. He's claiming she convinced him the house transfer was legitimate estate planning, that she was the one who wanted to sell it and keep all the profit. Is that true? Partially, probably. Derek's not innocent, but Bethany definitely drove the scheme. She has a history, turns out. This isn't her first time targeting a spouse's family assets. I sit down heavily. Derek's divorcing her? Smart move on his part, distances himself from her actions, might help him avoid criminal charges if he cooperates fully. So he's saving himself by throwing her under the bus. Just like she threw him under the bus in court, they deserve each other, but they're not going to have each other. Within a week, Bethany's charged with fraud, criminal damage, harassment, and attempted theft. Derek's charges are lighter, fraud and false representation, due to his cooperation. The court date is set for 2 months away. In the meantime, I start rebuilding my life. I replace the furniture they took. I repaint walls. I plant new flowers in the garden. Carol helps with everything, refusing to let me do it alone. One afternoon, we're in the garden when a car pulls up. Derek gets out, looking thinner than I've seen him in years. I stand slowly, heart pounding. What do you want, Derek? Just to talk, please. I glance at Carol. She nods and goes inside, giving us privacy but staying close. Derek sits on the porch steps. I remain standing. The divorce is final next week, he says. I'm sorry to hear that. No, you're not. He's right. I'm not. Mom, I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I know what I did was terrible, but I need you to understand something. What? She got in my head. From the moment we married, she was always talking about money, about how we deserved more, about how you were sitting on valuable property you didn't need. She made it seem logical, natural, like I was stupid for not seeing the opportunity. And you believed her? I wanted to believe her. Because I was tired of struggling. Tired of watching friends get ahead while I stayed in the same place. The house seemed like a solution. It wasn't your solution to take. I know that now. Do you? Or are you just saying that because you got caught? Derek flinches. I deserve that. You deserve a lot worse than that. He nods, accepting it. I'm testifying against Bethany. The prosecutor says with my testimony, she'll probably get 2 to 3 years. I'll get community service and probation because I cooperated. Good. Is it? Is any of this good? He looks up at me and I see tears in his eyes. I destroyed our family over money I never even got. I lost my wife, my home, and my mother, all for nothing. You didn't lose your mother, you betrayed her. There's a difference. Can I ever make this right? I don't know, Derek, can you? He stands, wiping his eyes. I'm going to try. I'm starting therapy. I'm getting help for whatever made me think this was okay, and I'm going to pay back every penny I cost you. It'll take years, but I'll do it. I don't want your money. Then what do you want? I think about that. What do I want? My son back? My family restored? My trust rebuilt? All impossible things. I want you to be better than you were. I want you to learn from this, and I want you to never, ever do something like this again to anyone. I won't. I swear. We'll see. He nods, understanding that trust isn't rebuilt with words, only time and actions. As he turns to leave, I call after him. Derek, he stops. You can visit. Once a month we'll have tea, we'll talk, but I'm not giving you a key, and I'm not signing anything you give me ever again. A small smile crosses his face. That's fair. After he drives away, Carol comes back out. Think he means it? I don't know, but I'm willing to give him a chance to prove it. That's very generous after what he did. He's still my son, and Paul would want me to at least try. The trial happens on a gray October morning. I sit in the gallery, watching as Bethany is led in. She's changed. Harder. Her lawyer mounts a defense claiming she was protecting family assets, that she believed the house transfer was legitimate, that any damage was caused by stress and emotional distress. Derek testifies against her. He explains how she pushed for the house transfer, how she wanted to sell immediately and keep the profit, how she suggested forging loan applications. Bethany stares daggers at him throughout his testimony. When my turn comes, I walk to the stand on shaking legs. The prosecutor is gentle, walking me through what happened. Mrs. Patterson, did you understand you were transferring ownership when you signed those documents? No, my son told me it was for estate planning, to make things easier if something happened to me. Did you intend to give up your home? Never. That house is my life. Every memory I have is there. What did you feel when Mrs. Bethany Patterson threw your belongings on the lawn and changed the locks? I take a breath. Devastated, betrayed, frightened. I thought I'd lost everything. Bethany's lawyer tries to make me seem vindictive during cross-examination, suggests I manipulated the situation, that I knew about the trust all along and used it as a trap. But Timothy prepared me well. I stay calm, stick to facts. When they show the photos of my clothes scattered across the lawn, several jurors look disturbed. When they play Bethany's threatening voicemails, they look angry. The verdict comes after 3 hours of deliberation. Guilty on all counts. Bethany's face crumbles. Derek's face is blank. I feel empty, not victorious, not satisfied, just tired. Bethany's sentenced to 2 years in prison. Derek gets 200 hours of community service and 3 years probation. He's also ordered to pay restitution for the furniture and belongings they took. As we leave the courthouse, Derek approaches me one last time. Thank you for not pushing for harsher charges against me. I didn't do it for you. I did it because I can't forget you're my son, no matter how hard I try. He nods. I'll be better. I promise. Good. I walk away before he can say more. Carol drives me home. My real home. The one that's mine, protected by Paul's love even years after his death. Over the next year, I slowly rebuild my life. The house becomes truly mine again. I repaint, redecorate, make it exactly how I want it. Derek does visit monthly as promised. Our conversations are stilted, careful, but gradually, very gradually, they become easier. He tells me about his therapy, his new job, his attempts to rebuild his life. I listen but remain cautious. 1 year after the trial, Derek shows up for our monthly tea with something in his hands, a small wrapped box. What's this? Just open it. Inside is a framed photo. Paul and me on our wedding day, young and happy. I found it in storage. Bethany threw it out, but I kept it. I thought you might want it back. Tears spring to my eyes. Thank you. I'm sorry I took it in the first place. I know. We sit in silence for a moment. Then Derek says quietly, he'd be disappointed in me, Dad, for what I did. Yes, he would be, but he'd be proud of you, for standing up for yourself. Maybe. I know he would be. You were always stronger than anyone gave you credit for. I look at my son, really look at him. He's thinner, older looking. The cockiness that Bethany encouraged is gone. In its place is something more genuine. Humility, maybe. Are you happy, Derek? He considers the question. I'm getting there. The therapy helps. Understanding why I let her manipulate me helps. It's going to be a long process, but I'm committed to it. Good. Are you happy, Mum? Am I? I look around my living room, my house, my sanctuary, my home that Paul protected. My life that I rebuilt from nothing. I'm content. That's enough. Over the next year, our relationship continues to slowly heal. It's not what it was. It'll never be what it was. The trust is damaged beyond full repair. But we're building something new, something more honest, maybe. Derek brings his new girlfriend to meet me eventually. She's nice, sensible, nothing like Bethany. She works as a teacher and has no interest in my finances or property. I approve. On what would have been Paul's 70th birthday, Derek and I visit his grave together. We place flowers and stand in silence. I'm sorry I let you down, Dad, Derek says quietly. I take his hand. He forgave you already. He knew people make mistakes. He just wanted everyone to learn from them. Have I learned? I think so. Time will tell. We stand there together, the autumn leaves falling around us, my son and I, not healed but healing. Not the same, but something. It's enough. 2 years after Bethany threw my clothes on the lawn, I stand in my garden on a sunny spring morning. The flowers I planted are blooming. The house behind me is exactly as I want it. Mine. Secure. Safe. Derek pulls up with his girlfriend, here for our now weekly Sunday lunch. He's bringing the food today, his attempt to contribute, to give back. I let him. Carol arrives shortly after with dessert. James comes too, Paul's brother who saved me with those trust documents. We sit in my dining room, eating and talking. Not about the past, about the future. About plans and hopes and simple, normal things. After everyone leaves, I sit alone in my living room. The photo of Paul and me on our wedding day sits on the mantel back where it belongs. Thank you, I whisper to it. For protecting me. For knowing I'd need protection. For loving me enough to plan ahead. I think about that day when I came home to find my belongings on the lawn. The shock. The betrayal. The fear. And then I think about what came after. The discovery of the trust. The fight in court. The slow rebuilding of everything. Bethany thought she was clever. Thought she'd found a loophole. Thought she could steal my home and get away with it. She didn't expect Paul's protection, didn't expect the trust, didn't expect me to fight back. She threw my clothes on the lawn and changed the locks. But she didn't expect what the property records revealed, that the house was never really mine to lose. It was held in trust, protected by a man who loved me enough to plan for threats I couldn't imagine. She thought she won when she locked me out. What she really did was unlock my strength. I fought back. I stood up. I reclaimed not just my home, but my dignity. My power. My right to live without fear. Derek thought he could lie to me, steal from me, and I'd forgive him because he's my son. He learned that blood doesn't excuse betrayal. That family means loyalty, not exploitation. We're healing now slowly. But he knows, everyone knows, that I'm not the helpless old woman they thought I was. I'm Paul's wife, and he made sure I'd always be protected. Always be strong. Always have a home. The house isn't just property, it's proof that I was loved, that I am loved. That love can protect us even after death. Bethany went to prison. Derek lost everything he thought he'd gain. And me? I'm still here, in my home, living my life, stronger than before. They thought they could break me. But you can't break what's already been rebuilt on foundations of love and trust. They didn't expect the property records, didn't expect the trust, didn't expect me. That was their mistake, and I made sure they paid for it.